I think there's an irony now that President Trump accused his opponents, accused the Mueller investigation of McCarthyism, when in fact that has it exactly upside down. It's President Trump who really has displayed the classic traits of a McCarthyite, which involves making lots of charges against political enemies that are untrue. It involves weaving complicated conspiracies that don't exist, all aimed at preserving your political power and gaining political power. Senator Joe McCarthy made wild charges about people being communists. His first big speech in Wheeling, West Virginia, he said, "I have a list of communists in the State Department." He had no list. The Soviet Union did pose a real threat to the United States. There were actual cases of spies who were eventually caught. The problem with McCarthyism was not that he made up a problem, it's that he vastly exaggerated its nature and also went after lots of people who weren't guilty. In Trump's case, the similarity is that Trump will say things about opponents, for example, about what President Obama allegedly did to him when he was in office and setting off the Russian inquiry that Obama never did. In fact, Obama was very cautious about the Russian inquiry, arguing that the Russian inquiry just came from the now famous Steele dossier. In fact, the Steele dossier was not the prime mover of this investigation. It came from a lot of sources, including a foreign diplomat who told Americans of some bragging by someone associated with the Trump campaign. So the tendency to make up behavior by your enemies, that's what Trump clearly has in common. There were, at the time, Republicans who had doubts about McCarthy, but went along with him for a long time because it was serving the interests of the party. Eventually, President Eisenhower led a lot of Republicans. A particular hero in that era was a Republican named Margaret Chase Smith of Maine, who stood up forcefully to McCarthy. You need people, usually in the party of the person engaging in McCarthyism, to really push back hard to stop it from going on. So McCarthyism always lurks. It existed before we had the name McCarthyism. It'll exist again, but it's something that we always need to resist.